Hello. Oh, my goodness. I didn't know I was here. Do you know my name?
The six-time 2002 Grammy Award winner.
Alicia's live performances are causing quite a sensation.
Fotos für Alicia Keys und A Woman's World.
Alicia Keys mit Fallen.
Please welcome Alicia Keys.
It was a girl growing up in New York, in Hell's Kitchen, with a single mother who was always away. She was kind of what they call a latchkey kid. The first time I really realized that she had talent was when her kindergarten teacher cast her in a little production of Cats. It was so beautiful. I went, oh.
All I really remember is her afro, because I had the same one. She was 9 and a singer with my cousins who were 5-6 years older than us.
We were heavy into Marvin Gaye.
Tanisha is one of my oldest and dearest friends.
I found a Marvin Gaye cassette tape,
which she stole from her mama.
I put this record on and it's what's going on, and we would listen to that album
over and over, to the point where we both got screamed on.
I know they had to be thinking, like, her mom and my mother, like, what are these kids doing listening to music that was from our time?
Tanisha is probably the person that taught me how to write for real. And I don't even know if she knows it.
We all used to hang. It was a performing arts high school. So, we were encouraged to be performing artists. So whether that's in the hallways, whether that's at lunch.
She got on the piano and blew my mind. This young girl just playing and singing.
Tanisha kind of brought Elle into the mix.
Tanisha heard me singing in the hallway. She says, oh, I love your voice.
It kind of just naturally happened, and he was just a part of the family also.
I met Alicia in downtown area, the Village. Everybody would go down to Washington Square Park and have ciphers, and you have rappers, you have singers, you have musicians. And one of the ciphers, Alicia was there.
Carrie Brothers is my longtime partner and the person that has been with me musically since the very, very beginning.
Just to hear that voice coming from such a young lady, you're like, wow, yo, you're gonna make it.
We both had such a strong passion for music, like just loved it so much.
I used to invite certain people that I really vibe with back to, the apartment and say, hey, I got a 4-track, I got a drum machine, I got a keyboard, let's make some music.
It was 1995. My brother was giving vocal instruction to a girls group.
The band that we were in consisted of 3 of my cousins and Alicia.
He kept inviting me to come down and check this girl out. She's so nice and she's got this swagger.
She just had a special quality to her.
She sat down at the piano and started playing Beethoven and Bach and Chopin. I was like, whoa.
Jeff already had a plan of the artists that he was working with. He wanted them to carve their own lane in the industry.
Alicia was very apprehensive about leaving the girls group. And I used to always tell her all the time that she can do it, she can do it, she can do it. And when you make up your mind you want to do it alone and go solo, give me a call.
Jeff Robinson is very important to me. He saw something great in me before I saw it in myself. And he saw that I could be an amazing solo artist, of which I fought him tooth and nail. I was like, no way. Who wants to be a solo artist anyway? Ew. You gotta be by yourself. It's lonely.
The rest of us kind of went our own separate ways, and Alicia, who was very focused and very determined, she really stuck with it.
It wasn't long before she gave me a call, and I said, come with me and we'll make millions.
Jeff Robinson called me up one day and said,
You know, I just met this girl. I think there's something really special going on with her. He said, you know, why don't we put on a little sort of showcase thing for her?
I would do these showcases for these different labels, and it'd just be me on the piano playing these original songs that I wrote.
Somebody so young and somebody able to have their own vision for music was frankly uncommon.
When she sat at the piano, honest to God, it was as if, you know, she had some old soul of a jazz musician, singer in her body, and I really responded to that.
Jeff Robinson and I, you know, had developed a really good relationship, and we had very similar ideas about Alicia's, you know, artistic development.
I would get all the top executives from the company to come down, and as Alicia was ending one showcase, I scheduled the next guy to come in. So he would see his competitor walking out and he was walking in. He's like, oh man, I gotta get involved with this. If such and such is here, I need to be down with this.
Jeff Robinson, wow. He never wavered one time in his confidence in her, his belief in her, and he's an absolute genius for that.
She used to be a little kid, and I used to always like make her sit in the meetings. It's good that she's taken a big advantage of learning everything to do with both in the studio and outside of the studio. Alicia and I were like a Batman and Robin team.
Together, we went through this entire process of finding a home for the music of songs in A minor.
And that's how we ended up on Columbia.
It was a big deal. It was a big label. We got a very good deal.
And remember, her record company wanted her to work with all of these other
established producers to do this and do that.
And that was cool, but until I walked in and they assumed that because I was a girl, I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know how to write. I didn't know how to play. And I didn't know how to produce.
I came in there and she was virtually in tears. Jeff, I can't do this anymore. You're gonna have to like block these guys out and let me come up with my own sound.
She came to me and she was like, you know, I really like what we do and I want you to work on my album.
If someone were to ask me who is Carey Brothers to Alicia Keys, the musical glue.
Putting my classical piano thing
I ain't gonna lie, I was intimidated, like, what?
With this cypher, New Eurekan, underground, hip-hop, Wu-Tang, Rakim zone, now it's interesting.
At first I was like, oh man, I don't know how to do an R&B album, I'm a rap dude, I'll make the beats and whatever. I'm glad she did that because it really forced me to really understand like what I was doing.
So we bought some equipment and we set it up in this apartment.
The building number was 9 and it was in Harlem.
When I hear songs of A minor, I just go back to like 137th Street.
We could use the closet as a little vocal booth, and we figured we're good.
We were basically just making music in the bedroom because no one was really paying attention.
Carey and I would sit there for hours breaking down music.
You start picking up the records, looking on the back, and reading the credits, and it's like, okay, there's a piano in there, there's a Wurlitzer. Like, what's a Wurlitzer? We need to get a Wurlitzer. What's a Wurlitzer?
We had all these songs, which to us were amazing.
We went in there to play the album, which we were going to release on Columbia. And basically they didn't like it.
The top of, you know, A&R at the time was like, oh, this sounds like a live demo.
As if it was like trashable. Do something else. It's not good.
We got to put out a record more like such and such. That's what's hot right now, Jeff. You got to get with it.
Everywhere I'm turning, it's a prison. I'm a prison in my home, a prison in this music.
Alicia and I are sitting there, so we don't make music like that. That's not the kind of music we make. And well, this is the kind of music we're putting out on this label. Either you do it or you sit.
My confidence was definitely crushed. I went to Jeff and I just said, you know, what are we gonna do? You know, we gotta get out of there. That was easier said than done. They didn't like the music. It sounded like a demo. They didn't want it. It wasn't good enough. They didn't want me to leave with it. I remember sitting in my mother's house at the piano and playing these chords.
It was like real moody, and sad, but still inspirational.
It was my first chance to write about what I was really going through. I feel like the world is closing on me. I feel like my dreams will never come to be. I keep on slipping deeper into myself and I'm scared. Chorus was God. If you're troubled, you just gotta let it go. If you're worried, you just gotta let it go. All your hustles ain't for nothing, you just gotta take it slow. When you need me, baby, all you do is let me know. I really needed to know that I wasn't alone.
Trouble seems to follow me every day, but I can't let it bother me no more. No more. I'm just gonna have to let it go. Keep on moving, yeah.
I said to the label head, so well, what if I get you your money back?
Jeff said, well, I think, there's an opportunity here to get out of this situation. This is not what we want, and can you help us? And I said, absolutely.
Just let me out of this cage and let me be able to sing. Let me be able to be free.
I believe in this and you believe in this, and we just gotta make other people believe.
The usual rumblings like, it's never gonna happen for that girl. This is just a bunch of hype. It never happened. Too bad. On to the next one, that type of thing.
I understood that she was not really being supported in making her own music there.
I had gotten a call from Peter Edge, who said that a young talent who was signed to Columbia Records would like to come up and see me. Jeff Robinson and Peter Edge came up to my office to show me a television program that Alicia had been on. And I saw this stunning, beautiful young artist.
I've heard the music, the demo, loved the music, heard what was beneath that.
Alicia, very articulate, explained to me that she was very unhappy.
I would have done 12 new songs. I didn't care. Just please let me go. Let me go if you don't want me.
He definitely understood the potential and the fact that she was a great diamond in the rough.
We would offer an override so that Columbia could recoup their investment.
And that's the only way that I probably wouldn't still be sitting on some shelf at Columbia Records.
That's how she made her switch to Arista, and that's where we started developing the early sessions for Songs in A minor.
And again, there was a big changeover.
Again? Now we got someone that believe in us, and now the head guy is getting the boot?
My dream would be to give birth to an instant major label.
He called her and assured her, you know what? I'm starting this new label. It's called J Records. I want you to be the front person.
This was a major new star.
They actually met at the right time.
They both had something to prove.
She had to make a decision. Do I stay with Arista or do I move with Clive in this new label?
We went into the office, the lawyer's office, to sign a document to stay at Arista. Alicia looked at me and she was like, Jeff, we can't do this. I said, what do you mean we can't do this? She's like, we can't do this. We gave our word to Clive.
You will remember tonight the launch of Miss Alicia Keys.
We packed up and started to do these promo shows, these promotional shows for the record. And all those promo shows were me and my keyboard in hotels. We called in Ray Chu, and he is an incredible musician.
I opened the door and there's this young beautiful girl with braids in there, cracking the whip, doing her thing.
He helped pull the band together for me, and that was how I met Henri.
It's very rare that you find an artist that you can connect with.
So we started to rehearse, really put together a show.
We just try to come up with something that's incredible, and 9 times out of 10 we do.
We started to do the Bottom Line, we started to do Joe's Pub, we started to do some very buzz shows.
It was an incredible 7 years and a few different labels and quite a few regime changes.
Carrie said, how many units you think the album's gonna sell? Let's get down to the real parts. I said, she could do 1 million copies. I think she could do 1 million easy. And Carrie said, yeah, I think she could definitely do. She could probably do 2 million. What do you think, Alicia? And she says, well, I want the album to sell, but even if 10 people buy it, I wouldn't care because that just means that somebody listened to what we did.
The first official single was Fallin'.
I remember at the time, there was a struggle at the record company, and Clive Davis was looking for songs to be her first single because nobody was sure that Fallin' was the right song.
Jeff, the song sounds old. It sounds like it's dated. It doesn't fit in any category of what's playing right now on the radio. I said, that's the beauty of it.
The urban stations were saying, don't you have something with a little more tempo?
The label was really pushing for putting out Girlfriend. And I was saying, that's not the song.
We had gone through a strong period of hip-hop.
Jeff, it's about research, and research says this, research says that. And Alicia would look at me and I'm like, I understand research, but we should let the people decide.
At the time, it was a very controversial record and a very controversial choice for a single.
It was something that I hadn't heard in a while. And I said, they're going to have a hard time trying to categorize it.
The label agreed to follow me and go out with Fallin'.
I said, I've got to do something I've never done before.
Clive's always given us leeway and trusted us to make it pop.
I'm going to write a letter to Oprah Winfrey. And I said, I would suggest that you have a program on the new female artists that will be emerging. The very next day, I get a call from Oprah's executive producer, and she said, you wrote a great letter. She has one question for you. She'll do the exact program that you want if you vouch for the fact that Alicia Keys is great in person.
Please welcome Alicia Keys.
I keep on falling.
It literally felt like I got sucked into the television. The show looks exactly like how it does on TV, but you're like in it. And it was just so weird and unbelievable.
Sometimes I feel good.
I realized Alicia had written a song that was so unique to her and so defining of who she was as an artist.
How do you love someone so much and you go through all this stuff and then it's bad, but then it's good, and then it's good, and then it's bad, and like, what is it? That was what I was trying to express.
I found the thickest drums I could find from like these break beats I had, and I just started laying these boom, boom, bah, boom, boom. Making it like whereas a kid who doesn't like R&B is gonna like the beat at least.
They played me the song Fallen. I immediately said, yes, absolutely, I'll work on this. So the songwriting was more mature than a lot of stuff that was coming out at that time.
When I first heard Fallen,
It was blasting out of some van.
I was definitely in the car.
Z100, 98.7, WBLS were all playing Fallen at the same time. I almost rear-ended a tractor trailer. I was so excited.
Oprah will have heard the song. I guarantee you she will mouth those lyrics and you will have a dramatic result. And that's exactly what happened.
Driving down 161st Street, and I see this long line of women. I asked one of the girls, what's the line for at 5:30 in the morning? And they said, this is the prison bus line. And I looked at the line, I'm like, this is it. This is the connection.
The video was just dope. My favorite moment of Fallen is when you see the chain gang women of Women on the Side, and they're like, that was heavy, that was pretty deep.
We came out with that record to kind of tie it in, to identify, so they wouldn't kind of like shun away from it because it was such a new sound. But like, wow, I went to see my brother in prison. Oh, I went to see my husband in prison.
That's the song that did it.
A lot of New York City ladies making moves. I think you've heard of this sister Alicia Keys before.
Immediately, every resistance from radio broke down.
9-7, here we go.
What's up, y'all? This is Alicia Keys, and here's more of your music only on Hot 97.
The feedback to Falling when we put it on the air was phenomenal.
She brought the quality back.
Falling, oh, it got to me. It knocked me out. And you know what? I was the first one to play it.
It entered the chart at number one.
Number one R&B? Number one in the country.
A young lady by the name of Alicia Keys. She's in the studio.
I was supposed to suddenly be refined, and I wasn't refined.
That was the record that truly introduced everybody to Alicia Keys.
I was straight off the streets of New York with my little accent and my little New York swag, but that's who I was.
When that first check came in, all we did was buy more equipment. You know, it's like, and bought a real Wurlitzer now. And we bought a real, piano.
Everywhere I walked, people would notice me, and I was very uncomfortable.
We see this girl give her this dirty look, and she goes, blah, 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 blah. And Alicia heard her, and she starts laughing. I said, what did she say? She said, look at that girl. She looks like an Alicia Keys lookalike.
All I could think of was like to put on a hood, and like hats and glasses. And if you can imagine, the more things you're putting on to hide, the more attention you're drawing to yourself. Like, well, who's that trying to hide over there? Miss Oprah allowed me the opportunity to speak to millions of people.
They both in unison said, thank you, Clive. Oprah called me afterwards. She said, boy, were you right. This young artist is her best goodwill ambassador.
I keep on falling in and out. Woo! I'll be back. Hey, yo, shorty, what's up? You looking good today. So you gonna give me some time or what?
What you talking about, shorty? We have Fallen. What's gonna follow it? What could we do after it?
You don't sell 12 million albums off of one song without having all of the other tools.
I was laying on the couch and I was just chilling out, and the commercial came on, because you're worth it. And I was like, yeah.
Just a song from a young black woman singing about a woman's worth. That wasn't happening back then, man.
You could buy me diamonds.
This feeling of because you're worth it, I was like, I want to talk about why I'm worth it.
A Woman's Worth was Alicia's second single.
This is a song where it was all Alicia.
And I sat there in the room by myself. I programmed the drums.
She's like, okay, I put these drums down to it, but don't laugh at me. Don't laugh at me. And I was like, nah, I'm not gonna laugh at you. She played it for me, and I was like, okay, go ahead, little funky drummer.
I'm working on this song called A Woman's Worth. I was like, oh, I love that. She's like, yeah, and I really want you to work on it with me. I was like, oh, really? Okay.
Can I do backgrounds on that? She said, sure, I want you to do backgrounds on it, actually.
That's a woman's anthem, She talked about, hey, if you don't know what you're worth, listen to what I'm telling you.
We used to say to her, how do you write these things? You're not even barely 20. Are you reading our mail? Or, how do you know how women feel?
That really solidified her as the real deal, as a voice for women, especially young women of color that could relate to her. They looked at her, they saw that, wow, this young girl with the braids and the hip-hop earrings and the whole thing, she's speaking to me and she's telling me that I have worth.
It was my strongest and truest desire to represent a type of woman who was the woman that I saw on the street and who I was.
girlfriend. I wasn't that crazy about it. There was a little cursing in it. I grew to love it.
I'm jealous of your girlfriend. I know she's just a girl that is your friend, but I'm jealous of her.
I remember her and I being on the train together. That song was out kind of underground then. You know, people would come up to us and she's like, "Hey, are you Alicia Keys? You look like this girl named Alicia Keys." She go, maybe.
It was a super dope way to introduce me as a piano player over a dirty raw beat and show people how my worlds collide in so many ways. Suddenly I'm going on the road and I'm supposed to do a tour.
That tour was, that set her off. That let the world know she was the real deal.
And I'm so excited because, this is like the dream.
She had that special presence. It didn't matter if you knew she could sing or she can dance or she can write or perform. You just know a star when you see one. Not an opening act, not a guest star, but Alicia Keys is just simply the whole show. Oh, it's true.
Situation about how you came with information. It's negative in every which way, just dissing my man in our relation. You say he's cheating, want me to leave him. I've changed my mind, I think I'll keep him.
You feel like you're a participant when you're there. You don't feel like you're just sitting and being a spectator.
Is it alright if I sit down and talk to you for a minute? Because I got some things to say.
Alicia tells stories. She's a storyteller.
I got some time to spend with my man. Everything is perfect. And all of a sudden.
Oh, Jane Doe's that other girl that's calling your man's phone.
And then he takes the phone and goes into the bathroom and shuts the door. And then I said that it was 2 in the morning, because it was 2 in the morning. And being a woman that I was like,
Her personality with the audience, it was like she'd been here before.
We were like kids running around, having a great time, enjoying, music and art and friendship and just the experience of it.
Being on the first tour with Alicia was incredible because it was a learning experience, not only for her, but for everyone. Rehearsal.
We would rehearse 13-hour days sometimes.
We all grew together. I look back at the photographs that we took then, and it's almost like surreal. Like, what were we going through? Like, it was just really a moment of expression.
There was a lot of things that we were learning of the music business that we didn't know. So I think just for a comfort level, she hired me as her assistant, and we learned together.
6 weeks in, the tour manager had to leave for family reasons, and I became the tour manager.
the set, and it was like, almost looked like 137th Street where we started this album.
We would blow up the stage, and then we wouldn't show up at an after party. We wouldn't show up anywhere. We would go and get on the bus and off to the next city.
I saw her work day and night. I think she was maybe sleeping 4 hours a day, maybe.
Her ability to outwork people was unmatched. This kid really, really got it.
I will just never forget the times when I have spoken to her on the road and say, how do you feel? You know, what are you feeling? And she would just say, this is like the best time of my life.
You couldn't have told me that, you know, this little girl was going to be traveling the world like that.
We had this phone booth that we put in the show. I would give her quarters to put in the phone booth, and then I would hit the button, and you would hear the quarters go down. And the phone ring, and I would say hello, and she'd hang up on me, and the crowd would go crazy.
How come you don't call me? I mean, talk about guts, you know? To do a Prince remake on your first record?
She could do anything that she wants to do. She's all right.
How Come You Don't Call Me was actually a suggestion made by Peter Edge.
I like artists that do it all. So it's kind of like what we call the real deal. I felt Alicia was from that world, and she was of that kind of class.
When he sent it to me and I listened to it for the first time, I ran to the piano.
People used to just love her rendition of that song.
It's a song that I perform over and over again that people really, really appreciate. Why are you playing? Lots of rehearsals, lots of traveling, lots of little bit of sleep, lots of suitcases, lots of gorilla. They gotta know me. They gotta remember me.
There will never come a day you will never hear me say that I want or need to be without.
Never Felt This Way was the Brian McKnight remake.
Brian McKnight was one of my favorite players and writers because, you know, he played his own thing and wrote his own thing, and it was a lot of like what I wanted to do.
My favorite song from Songs in A minor, Never Felt This Way. It means a lot to me because the first time I met her and she performed for me in Harlem was singing that song.
Never Felt This Way was one of the songs that I played during all the showcases that I did. And at one of these showcases, we decided to record it.
That's the same song that's on Songs in A minor. It was never re-recorded. So that song is from 1995.
And that went straight into Butterflies.
I remember exactly where the piano was in the corner. Wrote a lot of songs on that piano in that corner. But this one was one of the best, and it stands the test of time still today. And it shocks me that I was 14.
This was one of the first songs like she played for me, and I was like, wow, like you wrote this?
I can remember her playing it in the apartment. Beautiful piano.
Although it was never a single, it's something that people really identified with.
It was just amazing how that song just really impacted people. Once she sang those words, "You give me butterflies," you could hear, if she stopped singing the words, you could hear them sing the words for her.
You give me butterflies. control the butterfly. You give me butterflies. I'm flying so high in the sky. I can't control these butterflies. But how do I let go when I loved them for so long and I've given them all that I could? Maybe love is a hopeless crime. Giving up what seems your lifetime. Oh, I'm wrong with something once so good.
It was such an avalanche of events that happened immediately, one after the other, that Alicia was somewhere over here, like, wait a minute, I'm coming, I'm almost there, I've got it. But I would never quite caught up to myself until finally, boom, night of the Grammys. And I was like, whoa.
I remember her performing at the Clive Davis Grammy party.
Gladys Knight goes on stage and she's singing all her big hits and she's like blowing it. Everybody's on their feet dancing and whatever. I'm like, oh my God. I go in the back and so I say, Alicia, are you sure you're ready for this? There's Gladys Knight on the stage. She's blowing it up. It's crazy. She got a standing ovation. She's like, yeah, I hear you. I love Gladys Knight. But Jeff, I got this. Go sit down. She went out there and just blew it up and got her own standing ovation. And I said, ever since then, I said, we're going to sell like 100 million records.
It was my goal to make people love me. This was my goal since the minute that I got a chance. And every chance I had was the only chance I would ever have.
She was ill at first Grammys.
And I'm like, how you not gonna be able to sing at the Grammys? That's not gonna work.
She'd had to do a lot of performing and she was really sick.
Before the performance, I had to get a shot. And, it was like a throat doctor. It did the trick because I could sing for the 5 minutes I needed to sing, because otherwise I couldn't even reach the notes. We had this guy, Joaquin Cortez, who was this incredible dancer, flamenco, and we practiced this incredible flamenco moment.
She had so much confidence. I knew there was nothing else out there like Alicia. I knew Alicia was fearless. Did I think it was going to sell 12 million record? No. Did I think it was going to sell 3 million record? Yes. But 12, I'll take 12.
Alicia Keys.
Alicia Keys.
Alicia Keys.
She wins 5 Grammys and I get my first Grammy ever and I'm like, this is nothing I ever expected.
We were hysterical when she won 5 Grammys.
It's definitely the most surreal night of my life.
It just gave us the confidence. It's like, okay, let's keep doing what we can do and let's keep growing.
I never doubted it. There was something about her. I knew this was her destiny, and I knew that there was no way around it.
Alicia really fulfilled one of my dreams in working in music, in that, I could feel proud that she was definitive of her generation.
My father always told me, like, Jeff, you have all these creative ideas and you never finish any of them. I think that's gonna be a curse. And so I used to tell Alicia this story all the time and I said, you know what, we win these Grammys, I'm gonna sit back there, I'm gonna look up, which I did do. I looked up and said, Dad, you was wrong.
Jeff Robinson devoted his career to making sure that Alicia's talent was put out into the world and exposed, on a global basis.
Jeff Robinson, Comrade Robinson, Jody Gershon, Mr. Clive Davis, Crucial Keys, Sir Peter Edge, my family, that's God, that's my mother, my Nana. Thank you to J Records, the whole MBK team, all the DJs around the country that supported this record.
Those names that were on that first album, that were on Songs in A Minor, to still be in my life, to still play active parts in my life is a blessing.
It's a beautiful time. And I'm very, very proud of having something to do with her growing up.
A lot of females don't get respected as a producer.
They see the album covers, they see the piano, they see the face, but
Sometimes they don't realize that
Alicia Keys is a producer.
She understands all the elements of music. She understands how to make it sound great.
she buys more gear than most of us.
She always took the lead.
She made songs you wanted to sing.
Got a voice and a personality to go with it.
I knew she was just gonna be huge.
I've always felt like she was a musical genius. I've always called her baby girl Stevie.
You can do anything if you just put your mind to it.
Giving people confidence and saying, hey, you're a winner. You can be anything you want to be.
You believe every word she's saying.
Her life is a great message. Her devotion to charity is a great message.
She was the one that really wanted to know everything there was to know about the AIDS pandemic. All of our organisation feels that what she's done in saving lives and caring for children, you know, we've served over 300,000 people now in Africa and India. I think that she has done something that's so extraordinary at such a young age. I love her very much. I'm very grateful to her. And she is an amazing human being.
She will continue a legacy.
Like we talk about Michael, like we talk about Stevie, like we talk about Ray, like we talk about Aretha.
Songs in A minor will stand the test of time and it will last forever. It told a story, and it was a relatable story. Songs that make you appreciate life.
They get people from point A to point B of their lives.
It's not just an album for music, but it's an album that will lift your spirits and encourage you.
In some ways, you know, she really made a classic R&B album.
It was a worldwide smash.
Everything we did seems like it just happened.
10 years from now, you better believe we're still gonna be hearing about AK.
We'll be waiting for that next new Alicia Keys album.
Sky's the limit.
My heart will always be with her. My respect, my affection, my love.
Being introduced to it again and having that opportunity to maybe fall in love with a record that they missed the first time around, I think that's really a special part of this entire celebration of the 10 years of this record.
We purposely didn't want to make anything that sound dated. And, you know, I feel like we accomplished that. And it makes me feel proud. And it changed my life, changed her life, and it made my parents proud.
This album is holding up 10 years later is really a testament to everybody involved and whatnot. And I applaud them all.
If we believe that I'm valuable, that I'm worth something, I'm worth a fight, that my dreams are important, that I have something to share with the world, that I can make it, that I'm gonna make it, whether it's you, and all the rest of you tell me that I can't, then that's what you're gonna be. And I am a living proof that that is the truth. And I really believe in that. And I really try to share that message so that people know it's all in your mind. It's all what you believe.
If I gave you forever, would you take care of me? Would you take me for granted? Run away. Those wonderful things that you do, they got me feeling in love with you, in love with you, and loving you with easy comes so naturally. Loving you with easy comes so naturally. I would give you laughter, so much more than that. Yes, I would.